Ulug' Rabbim icabet kıl, Yirakta ana duasını. Ulug' Rabbim icabet kıl, Zindanda ata duasını. Ulug' Rabbim icabet kıl, Musafir yitim duasını. Ulug' Rabbim icabet kıl, Vatansiz g'arib duasını. Ulug' Rabbim nasib ayla, Ko'rishga vatan azodini. Ulug' Rabbim nasib ayla, Ko'rishga zolim zavolini. Ulug' Rabbim nasib ayla, Ko'rishga onam jamolini. Ulug' Rabbim nasib ayla, Suyishga vatan tuprog'ini. Ulug' Rabbim nasib ayla, Kezishga vatan gulbog'ini. Ulug' Rabbim nasib ayla, Vatan tuprog'ida o'lishni.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome to another special episode of Talk East Turkestan. Today we'll be talking about obviously what's been happening over the past 24 to 48 hours. I apologize, I do have a bit of a cold, so please bear with me. So China finally admits to committing a genocide. We're obviously talking about these two tweets here. These tweets have been taken down by Twitter because, it promotes genocide. But we're going to get into not just the tweets, but the actual article, which is more profound. So let's just quickly go over the tweets. Study shows that in the process of eradicating extremism, now for China, extremism means Islam. So in their way of trying to clamp down on Islam, the minds of Uyghur women in Xinjiang were emancipated or freed, and gender equality and reproductive health were promoted, making them no longer baby-making machines. They are more confident and independent. So in other words, to eradicate terrorists, right? To get rid of extremism, they've sterilized, they forcefully aborted Uyghur women. So they're saying that Uyghurs give birth to terrorists. They are not baby-making machines. They are terrorist-making machines. That's what is being said. There's another tweet that goes on, okay, in its feed. It says, study shows that the population chain in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region involves the overall improvement in population quality. An increasing number of youth chose to spend more time and energy on personal development. So the Uyghurs wanted this, and now there are better citizens out there. There are no more terrorists, because these terrorists are no longer being born. It's very funny. What I want to do is, let's have a look at what the actual article says, because they've tweeted an article, okay, which is, I think, says a lot more about what this article is about. So it says decreases in the birth rate and natural population growth rate in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region in 2018 resulted from the eradication of religious extremism. Okay, so with that decrease, extremism also decreased. Do you get what they're saying? So Uyghurs are giving birth to this is the underlying message. All right. So babies are terrorists, and Uyghurs only ever give birth to terrorists. Therefore, Uyghurs should never ever give birth. Okay. The report on population change in Xinjiang, published by the Xinjiang Development Research Center, said extremism had incited people to resist family planning, and its eradication had given Uyghur women more autonomy when deciding whether to have children. So it's not that they were forcefully sterilized, right? They say they chose to be sterilized. It's that Uyghur men, right? Uyghur men were forcing these women to have babies, okay, with no evidence whatsoever. And what's crazy is when Adrian Zen, so what I want everyone to do is, you guys should, and there was an interview with Adrian Zenz and I about six or so months ago. And I want you to check out his research, again, specifically on this issue. Where is it? This is that report, and it has all the graphs and all the evidence from Chinese sources, so you guys can check that out. The Chinese regime said no, that's all fake, and that there is no population decrease. But in this article that I shared with you a moment ago, they say the population decrease has got to do with family planning. Okay, so they say now for the first time, they say themselves, as a result, the birth rate in Xinjiang decreased from 1.6% in 2017 to 1% in 2018. And the natural population growth fell from 1.1 to 0.6. Okay, 1.6 in itself is way low. Any government seeing a 1.6% birth rate would do everything in its power to enable families to have more children, to instead of forcing them not to have children, they'd come up with ways for them to have more children. But the Chinese government is quite proud for a birth rate of 1.6, if it's true, reduced to 1%, and they're very happy with that. And then the natural birth rate from 1.1 to 0.6. So everything that they had said against Adrian Zenz, now they've had to double down and go, well, this is the actual reason. Now I want to show you how the Chinese government go about promoting this. It's very funny in their propaganda. This is a video of how the Chinese go about propagating family planning, and let's react to this. So this video is called Xinjiang My Home, Family Planning Specialist Amangul. All right, so let's have a listen to what Amangul has to say.
我叫阿满古里，是一名计生干部。我现在的工作就是给当地村民讲健康知识、避孕知识，发一些计生药具。我记得我第一次去村民家宣讲的时候，村民们对于这些知识还是有点害羞的。说实话，作为女生，我在讲避孕内容的时候也还是有些害羞的。最早开始，我对这个工作也不知道用什么方式跟他们宣讲，让他们更好的接受。因为这些比较隐私的事情大家都很保守，然后我就自己在网上会看一些，了解我们本地村民的实际情况，不断学习。我们村委会也会派我去别的地区交流学习，我对自己宣讲的方式和内容这块越来越有信心。这几年看着我们村的村民房子住得越来越好了，接触的新鲜事物越来越多，家里添置的新玩意儿还有上网接触面光了，慢慢的他们也就很平常的看待这些健康和隐私的知识。现在对我每一次的宣讲，大家都会。
Now, what did you find wrong with that video? the main wrong, and I'm sure whether you're in a Western setting or a conservative Muslim setting, there are many things wrong with this video. You've got a whole family gathered, mother, daughter, father, uncles, and aunties, talking about contraception. When was the last time, even in the West, your whole family gathered together to talk about using condoms and IUDs and abort? Like, does this ever happen? So straight up, even their propaganda is so fake. As she mentioned, the Uyghurs are a conservative people. A normal person would go to a doctor and seek in contraceptions and find out information that way. Now you've got a person that this does not happen. And even a lot of the Muslim people watching this, you guys know that in front of your parents, in front of your elders, you don't talk about these issues ever. You go to your doctor and you deal with it that way. So this is not real what's happening. And even if the way that they're propagating it, people are not going to have it. And we've talked about this issue before where initially when the concentration camps were open, mostly the men, most of the male population went into these camps. And that's another reason for the big birth rate decrease, because there was no men to to do what they needed to do. And obviously they go, oh, this is to again stop bigamy, meaning someone to marry while they're already married. Well, technically there's nothing wrong with bigamy, because China is a society where you can have multiple girlfriends and boyfriends and have nothing happen to you. But once you put a label such as wife or husband, suddenly that's illegal. So all of these things are non-excuses or non-reasons, or just reasons to put people in concentration camps. I found that video so funny and so fake. They're in the report, it talks about Adrian Zenza's report. It talks about why people are sent into concentration camps for having that second or third child. Let's listen to a former concentration camp detainee, which I've interviewed myself before. She talks about how she had the Chinese government forced her to have that operation to get rid of her uterus, and women like her can no longer have babies anymore. So this is Zumrat Daud, and she explains how this has happened to her personally. And there are thousands of women out there that tell us that they have been forcefully sterilized and they've had operations done to them where they can no longer have children. They've been given hefty fines, fines that these Uyghurs are not able to pay. Let's hear her testimony.
Ayallık nememizden tügep kitlegandek aşta esiyatda alaqyady. Am boldu biz tügeşdik. Amda biz bundakin ballyk bulamaymiz digen gep. Çünkü o bir azaýyňyzy kesip öwtüdi digen gep dämdi. Yok o narsa.
And obviously the CCP hit and said that those sorts of testimonies were lies. Here's the CCP reply as to those sorts of testimonies, and they actually address Zumrat Daud herself as well, amongst other Uyghurs. Sorry, I think I've shared the wrong one. Sorry. Where are we?
大家上午好。新纳伊、兹瑶登等人被政府实施了强制绝育，对此您有何回应？谢谢。
2013年3月，佐木热达乌提在乌鲁木齐市妇幼保健院妇产医院生第3个孩子时，自愿在分娩志愿通知书上签字，称坚决要求剖宫产要结扎，然后在医院做了剖宫产结扎手术，根本没有被绝育，更没有被摘除子宫。演员米日古托尔逊2017年4月21日，他因涉嫌煽动民族仇恨和民族歧视，被新疆切莫县公安局刑事拘留。 除了20天的刑事拘留以外，米日古里·托尔逊在中国期间是完全自由的，从来没有被判刑，从来没有在任何教培中心学习过，更没有被迫服用药物的情况。定经核查，米日古·托尔逊没有做节育手术的记录，他的父母也说他有生育能力。托尔辛奈兹奥登称，被关押在教培中心的女性，要么接受外科手术绝育，要么接受停止月经的药物。他还称自己被迫接受的输卵管结扎灭菌手术是以不可逆的方式进行的。事实上，他根本没有做节育手术。
2010年至2018年，新疆常住人口上升至2486.76万人，增长13.99%。其中，少数民族人口上升至1586.08万人，增长22.14%。维吾尔族人口上升至1271.84万人，增长25.04%。
So guys, we're constantly in a state of, well, China, you're forcefully aborting, you're sterilizing women, and they go, no, that didn't happen. Or they'll go, you are genociding people. No, we haven't. Come and visit us. And obviously people are not allowed to visit. And what was funny was, you guys would have seen with the World Health Organization, where they were invited to come and see where the source of the Chinese flu was, but they were stopped at the border. So again, China will not anyone let in. That's why these tweets, or those tweets, are so important. I'll share those tweets again. And to be honest, these tweets are so important because for the first time, they are admitting that they played a part in all of this. Okay. And I was personally, or I am personally, against these tweets actually being taken down because now China is going to think twice before they reveal their secrets. And Chinese probably, I don't know if they did it on purpose or whether it was out of stupidity, but I see it as China literally don't care, and they're trying to push it as far as they can, seeing what they can get away with. Okay, so what happened at the end of the day? This tweet was taken down. And I'm thinking, so what? So what if they take it down? The genocide is still going on. There are still being people oppressed. I mean, did we actually win anything? I mean, do we actually, like, what was the point of taking down this tweet? Where this is proof, and this lets everybody see. I mean, if this tweet was left up, I mean, I think it was only after 48 hours this tweet got taken down, but if it was left up for a week or so, a lot more people could see, you know, how evil China is. Now, according to the Geneva Convention, based on these birth rates, right, China is actually committing a genocide. And I'll show you the article right here. Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. And that is imposing measures intended to prevent deaths within the group. So within any sort of ethnic or religious group, you're imposing these measures. That's genocide. I mean, what more does the world need? It's clear-cut genocide, and we're literally fighting on Twitter saying that take down this tweet because it's promoting genocide. Dude, keep that tweet up. That's evidence, man. I really don't understand people these days. You know, it's just crazy. Now I can understand, say, you know, Twitter suspending Trump's account, but why do we then have all these CCP Twitter accounts, right? Now, the difference between someone like Trump's account and a CCP account is that with CCP accounts, right, the people of China or Uyghurs or whatever, They don't have access to Twitter, and they can't quote tweet those tweets that the CCP give out. There is no freedom there. So why are we giving freedom to that regime that takes away freedom from people? Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Obviously, we call it a genocide. It's been happening for especially the past 5 years, straight up Uyghur Holocaust slaughter. And people need to just, Twitter is not our battle. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter that tweet was taken down at all. In my eyes, it would have been better to keep it up. Yeah, Trump is far less dangerous than the CCP. And for people to compare Trump to Xi Jinping is straight up Hitler. Trump hasn't opened up concentration camps, Yani, like the American government and its system has been set up in a way that if a Trump-like person or a dictator were to come into power, they wouldn't be able to run the dictatorship based on how the government's set up. And every 4 years, the American people dismantle their government every 4 years based on the will of the people. Whereas the current CCP regime is the same regime that's been happening for 72 years. So there's no way, on earth can you compare a free country with liberties where people can vote for their leaders to a Nazi-like regime, worse than Hitler, taking nothing away from the Jews, but worse than Hitler, because this modern day shitler, Xi Jinping, Hitler, has all the technology to at the tips of his fingers to carry out, whether it be the profiting from the heirs, profiting from labor. There was a new report by BuzzFeed saying that there are 22 million square feet in factories and camps, newly built, 130 odd extra camps. So China has taken it to a stage where, I personally don't believe that tweet was accidental, or they somehow leaked out their secrets and they've accidentally admitted to a genocide. I think that's on purpose. I think they're testing us to see how far they can take it. And to be honest, what's going to be more upsetting is that, right? Okay, Twitter's taken down because it's promoting genocide. Okay, and then what? And then, like, Twitter is not a government. Twitter doesn't make governmental policies, right? The people, unless the people in power, especially now that you've got Sleepy Joe in power. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to say right here, right now, like when we're only talking about purely the American government, forget about what happened over the last few weeks, right? Like Trump has been the best thing that's ever happened to the American economy, to Americans ever. But now I'm also worried for American people, because God knows how the relationship is going to go now. Most likely it's going to be a better America and China relationship. So I'm really not just worried for my Uyghur people. I'm worried for the American people. And you all of us have seen that, especially on social media, that freedom of speech is definitely being censored. I was sent, like, for the past week, I've been off Twitter. They've censored me. I'm back now. I don't know how long I'm going to last back on Twitter. That's why I've set up a Parler account. So yeah, the left have really taken over. But I mean, unless we have people recognize this, so the main issue here is, right, people don't see, governments still don't see Xi Jinping as a Hitler. They don't recognize China's concentration camps like the concentration camps that the Jews went through. Okay, the earlier people recognize this, the earlier the things that we can get done. And I call for, and we should call for, legal military intervention, Western military intervention. Hitler didn't go away on his own. Everybody knows how Hitler was taken down. The same solution has to be made against Xi Jinping. Okay, we cannot see the Chinese regime as a legitimate government. They are not a government. They are a criminal organization. They are a terrorist organization. CCP is no different than ISIS. I'll say it again. The CCP is no different to ISIS. All right. ISIS has an ideology of brainwashing people. The CCP has an ideology of brainwashing people. Okay. ISIS killed many innocent people. China on a daily basis kills many innocent people. So until we make that connection, until we recognize that, nothing's going to happen. Taking down a tweet from a Chinese embassy account is a drop in the ocean. Okay. If you guys have any questions, I'll take some questions. If not, I'll close this session for tonight. Democrats are so scared of Trump, that's why they shut him up. I mean, even the issue, the whole issue with Trump, yeah, when he was calling, right, when he said, right, the media, right, the fake news media that Trump calls out, they could have made Trump look like to be a fool, an absolute fool, right? Because Trump was saying, stop the steal, the election was stolen, blah, 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 blah. The media wouldn't cover or wouldn't show the evidence that was actually collected, right? If that evidence was shown to everybody, right, and you could see it and it was plastered in front of our television screens, and then Trump was made a fool of, people would have been happy. But because that was the evidence wasn't shown to the people, then Trump could go, look, our election was stolen, right? And we don't know any better because we didn't see the evidence. They could have easily shown the evidence, but the evidence wasn't shown. So what happened on January 6th, it's not just the right that has to be blamed or Trump that has to be blamed for inciting, right? The left and the leftist media also have to be blamed because there was a censorship, and this censorship continues every day. And censorship doesn't work. And so therefore, even when it comes to us with China, we're saying don't censor the people there. Let us visit that area, not being followed by your cars, by your spies. Let us visit those areas and we can see, we can investigate for ourselves. But one big question, and I always say it, China never ever lets independent investigation. Why? What are you hiding? Right? So they can come up with that report, and this report, he said, we say the Uyghurs are being persecuted, and then they say, no, they're not, everything's A-okay. Well, we can't go inside to verify. We can't go inside. And I always say this, look at Iran, right? The West says Iran, is making nuclear weapons, blah, blah, blah. Iran opens the gates and lets everyone in so they don't get further sanctions, right? How come we are not applying that same thing to China? Why can't we sanction China when they don't open their gates, let us in to investigate, whether it be the Chinese flu, whether it be the concentration camps, whether it be other persecutions, right? So, yeah, they are. I mean, the left are, and God knows what's going to happen under Biden. He is on. I mean, I wish, I love this. Like, China or people that I don't know whether this guy lives in China or not, but they cannot fathom, right? They cannot think that people out of their own desire want to see this terrorist organization, the CCP, disappear, right? I wish I was on the CIA roll, dude. Like, I've been messaging them all the time to pay me, but I'm not getting a dime. I wish, man, I wish. Anyways, everyone gets their products from China. They put that over the Uyghurs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you should boycott Chinese goods, but also we should have those companies leave China. Set up your factories everywhere else. Go to Southeast Asia, go to Bangladesh, go to the Southern Asian countries. You just gotta, because again, until that recognition that China is a terrorist state, that the CCP is a terrorist organization, no change is going to come. And these little battles over Twitter, take that tweet down, that's all BS. That's nothing. That's nothing, a drop in the ocean. Any more questions, guys? If there's no more questions, I'll end it here. Yeah. Okay, guys. Until next time, make sure you guys share this video, get this out there. Follow me on Parler as well, because it looks like we're not going to last that long on Twitter anymore. It's in the hands of the left. Okay, guys. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ümit üzme aziz halkım, ümit üzme ey ana yurt. Biz atlandık bu güreşke, o yıl taştak uyuşup. Allah verse bu nusretni, bizgilerimiz sep bulur.